Hi, everybody. Cappi Pidwell here. I'm a master of NLP and hypnotherapy, and I help people break through their barriers to make more money, get more sales, and get very rapid outcomes. And today, I want to share a client and friend of mine with you. Her name is Astrid. She'll tell you a little bit about herself in just a few moments. But the reason I'm having some clients here recently and doing these interviews is because I want you, the viewer, to hear from my clients the breakthroughs, the results, and the outcomes and their experience of mastering their subconscious mind. So we'll dive in now. And Astrid, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, and what company you work for.
Hi, Cappi. Thank you for having me today. My name is Astrid Ashworth. I'm with Corinthian Title. I'm actually the sales manager for the company. And what we do is we sell title insurance here locally in Southern California.
Yeah, we'll leave all the information in the description below for those of you that are viewing. If you need a title rep, if you need help with title insurance, she's amazing. To jump into our own story, Astrid and I met probably over 20 years ago when I was speaking at a real estate event on mindset mastery, which those of you that know my channel know I do the mindset reset, help you upgrade your mindset, get rid of those blocks to monetize and really strategize and create more success for yourself. That's the overall goal for all of my clients. So Astrid saw me speak, we met, we became instant friends. And from that point on, from years now later, we have not only maintained a friendship, but I have done sessions with her over the years at different points of her career. So Astrid, I want to take you way back to when you first met me and heard me. And I know it's been a long time, so you may or may not remember the details, but let's share with the viewers what was different for you when you heard me speak about the mindset piece?
Back in the day when you started this, to me, it was such a unique thing that I had never heard, and the things that could help me grow my business and help even my clients. It was just something very unique and different. And the one thing I've learned in doing business, you always should check different opportunities that can help growth. And yours was one of the outstanding ones.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. So it's different because I'm talking about the subconscious. So then you decided to dive in and do some work with me. And we did some sessions together. And I'd love for you to share what was that like for you when you first started listening? Because it is unusual. You're right. Most coaches, people that are managers, and people that are telling people what to do and how to do things, they want to do those things and they want to have those breakthroughs. But for you, when you started listening to the subconscious session I made you, what were some of the things that you noticed?
Well, was having a lot of challenges and obstacles. And I always think if there's something that can give you a better break, that I had gone to many coaches, a lot of real estate ones, just to get more idea of, learning practices, right? And what yours was so different that it was all to do with the mind and what you can do that I was not even being aware of. I mean, most people think is you got to read a lot of books, go to all the coaches and followed that program. Yours was different because it was much more dived in into the mind and how your mind works and give you breakthroughs. And the fact that I started using your practices on a daily, I was noticing a big breakthrough in my business, huge. And it's still my secret weapon. Not that I don't tell anybody, I don't want to keep you a secret just for me, but it was such an amazing thought that I've used all your recordings and tools, your books, everything to benefit me. And the person that misses this opportunity is too bad because it's something that if you really listen and apply it, consistency pays off with anything you do. Yours is one of those products. And it's because of like, wow, what it does, it gives you that break that you really do need because it does start with how you're wired. A lot of it. And people don't realize you could be a procrastinator, you can do all these other things, but in the reality, it's your mind that if you program it properly, all those breakthroughs will take place. So thank you again for that.
Oh, no, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's a important point because I think today more than ever, there's so much information out there, right? We're bombarded today with, you were saying earlier before we started to record, like my phone's blowing up, my text running around. Like we're all doing the same thing because everyone has access to us now 24/7, right? So I think our mindset more than ever needs to be relaxed as much as then our nervous system, right? People don't realize when we're like this all day, that's very taxing on the brain and on the body. And so to be able to put in a session you have on your phone, hit play, go to sleep and listen to the specific suggestions I'm giving your subconscious when I work with you and I find those challenges or obstacles or little things you want to tweak. I say I kind of go in there and make these little inner adjustments for people. And sometimes they don't have to be massive. It's like I want to sleep better. I want to wake up and feel more clear headed. I want to be more motivated. I do pretty much everything for sales professionals. It's really based on you when you and I talk, and then I make those personal products. So as the listeners watching and we're just sharing right now, what would you say some maybe give like 2 or 3 breakthroughs that you've had doing the sessions? Because I think you're listening to some right now, right?
Yeah, I actually listened to this morning.
I love it.
Couple of breakthroughs. I really love it. It's in my one of the tapings, and no coincidence. It seems like sometimes when I listen to it, I go out in the field, I have my mindset on the focus of what I want to do business wise. And I happen to walk into an office and or somebody calls me and it's kind of the weirdest coincidence. Like you said, no coincidence. And somebody says, I'm looking for you. Oh my God, exactly what you're saying is what I need. And that happens more than just once. That's what's so interesting. And I think, again, my thought of listening to it projects my energy out, and that energy comes back through other people. And it is happening. These breakthroughs are happening instantly. It's incredible. It's one of the best things you have brought to the table, and again, the focus of the energy of me waking up. Also, I'm becoming more efficient. I'm doing things on a simple scale. And the one thing you always have taught me, even through your coaching, is that you don't need a lot to be productive. And so now it's so amazing. I'm doing less work, making more money. And thanks to you, again, that's a great practice, right? Why do I have to be working a trillion hours? Work smart and efficient. That's number two. And I would say number three, the fact that the coaching also, again, embedded in my head when I go have a day of public speaking, I am on par. Everything that comes out of my mouth is like somebody rewired me and I'm done. And I take that with me. And that skill to me is something you can't just wake up and do, right? It's consistency of listening to your tape, and it keeps projecting out to the point that now the whole industry knows I am the biggest brand and I want to be the biggest brand. I will continue being the biggest brand, and I will use yours to make me to the next scale of success. And that's a thank you to you.
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And I think that because this isn't the typical type of coaching, right? Managers are coaches. I do the same thing you do. I go in and I speak, and the person will say, oh, well, my manager's coaching me and they're taking a percentage of my commission now to be a coach. And I'm like, wait, they're a manager. Or there's programs that people can certainly purchase like mine. But what I'm finding is a lot of clients are not getting the outcomes. They're paying a monthly 1,700, 900. There's different fees across the board for a 12-month program. And I was sharing this story the other day in one of my other videos. I was talking to this lady and she said, "Well, in January, I hired a very popular real estate coaching company. And she said, I pay $730 a month and I've been in it for 6 months. And I said, that's awesome. 6 months, that's quite a time and money investment. How many deals have you gotten? And she said, zero. I haven't gotten any deals yet, but I'm still learning, and I'm thinking, "Wow, that's a long time to learn when you've already been in the business 12 years." So, I think some of those coaching models are great for some people, but I'm all about the result. I'm all about the outcome, the confidence, the inner game, right? Removing those inner objections, not reading a script, not just kind of doing what every other person out there is doing, and I think that's the advantage you have. You're very different. You're outgoing, you're confident, you really know your stuff inside and out. And ultimately, I think people hire us as a person because they go, that girl can get the job done. That Astrid, I call her, she's this, she's this, she's this. And I think the same thing for me. I think that's why we've been friends for so many years. But people know they can count on getting the real results. And it's not a bunch of fluff. And it's not just, yay, use me for title and I'll give you whatever the little fluffy thing or whatever it is that people want. I know because I used to be a title rep. So it's a hard work. And I think that your efficiency and your follow through and your commitment is stellar. I would agree with you. You're the biggest brand in this business in this area. And I just love watching you grow and blossom and bloom, it's fun for me to watch. So when I look at anybody in any industry in sales, because the mindset to me, as I was a real estate agent as well, I was also a title rep, I found that everything I was being told to do, I didn't really want to do. I didn't want to do many of the activities. So when I started studying mindset, it wasn't specific for business. Now I do it for people for business because it took me a while to kind of fumble and fall my way through and say, I can help people pick up the phone. I can help people be more confident. I can help people get up and speak. I can help people sell more, close more. So it took me a while to really create the system and the model. And of course, that's all I do now is help business professionals and entrepreneurs do that. Hypnotherapy and mindset mastery is quite magical. Are there any questions, or have you ever come up with an experience where maybe you tell somebody about me and they're like, how does that work? Do you ever get questions about what you're doing or how it works for you?
I do. I think people don't really understand hypnotherapy. They don't know really what it is and if there a belief in it. So that usually is an obstacle. But where they fail to see this is really listen and pay attention what it does. You hear something with anything and you're always skeptical, right? And the one thing I know is that you're the real deal. And if they just pay attention to what the results out of this whole thing is and try it, if when you don't try something, you never know, right? And if I never would have tried it, I would have never had the results of where I'm at today with the confidence, the energy, the speaking, everything I do to bring things to the table. So the one thing I do tell people, you want to pay attention, read about her. I give them your website. I want them to understand what you really do and pay attention to really what comes out of your mouth that would help them, because you're truly there to help them and they don't realize that. You're not selling them just a regular 6-week coaching program of do this every day, right? It's a different style and it's a very unique and it's very above the average person, thinking. So if they pay attention, they're going to get something, a very unique golden nugget to another level of business.
Thank you. I love that you said it's hard to explain because I have the same challenge and I do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I started speaking, I thought instead of being just a speaker, be an educator.
Yes.
So my goal is to always show people how the mind works, where their challenges and obstacles are. I was doing a speaking event the other day and I said to the audience, get a pen and paper because I want you to walk out of here with an aha. And I often do this in my YouTube videos. I'll tell my audience, hey, go grab a pen and paper. So I will recommend that right now. If you want to get a breakthrough, put in the notes breakthrough. And I'm going to give you a secret here. If you ask yourself this question, and this is what I did for the audience, I said, what is your biggest business challenge right now? And it was amazing to me that some people didn't even know. I don't have enough business. After they wrote their answers, I asked people to read the answers. Oh, I don't have enough business. Well, would that be marketing? Are you out actively talking to people? Back it up, right? It's not that you don't have enough business. Maybe the activity or the marketing message is wrong or you're not doing an action. So I always tell people start with yourself. What's your biggest obstacle right now? When I said one question, people started going, well, I have 10 answers. It's this, it's the market, it's my husband, it's the dog. Everybody has all these reasons, but that's what's happening in their reality. That's what's happening in their head. So once I had them understand, all I did was ask one question. But when I went around the room, all the answers were different.
Yeah.
Right? And the answers were different based on what? Based on what they were telling themselves, based on their beliefs about the market or the this or the that. So it's interesting. A little thumbs up. I don't know why that went off. Did you do that? Did you do the thumbs up? Me neither.
Yeah.
Okay. We like it. Thumbs up to the air and the energy. Okay. I find that sometimes when people don't do that work first, we're telling people what to do, right? That's a lot of training, what to do and how to do it. Go call these people, go farm, go do this. And that's what we've been taught. But what I tell people is stop for just a second, notice what your inner answer is. What's my biggest business challenge? One lady said, I have no idea. I'm stuck. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper. What else could you ask yourself? Why do I feel so stuck? I'm coaching her in front of the room, of course. And she said, well, this and this and this and this. She started telling me all these things. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do you often feel stuck in every other area of your life? And Astrid, she started crying in front of everybody. Because that is a familiar feeling for her. Does that make sense? It's not just her business. She inside carries this energy of I'm stuck, I can't do it. Whatever those subconscious programs that are running her, she's smart, she has a degree, she's a nice looking, attractive lady. There's nothing wrong with anybody. But what people don't understand is they have these limiting beliefs about themselves, and then they put it onto their business or they put it onto their partner or they put it onto their bank account, but the energy is still coming from the person. Right? I'm stuck in a relationship. I'm stuck in this job. I'm stuck, whatever. So when I started kind of unraveling it, I said, people are like ropes. I got to unravel it a little. They go, oh my God, I never realized I've been doing this to myself. She had a massive breakthrough through one question.
That's crazy.
It is. But that's because no one's really looking at the inside of an individual. They're just trying to help them, tell them what to do, show them what to do. Here, do A, B, and C. And this is good for you too as a manager, Astrid. When you're coaching your other title reps and they're saying this and this and this and this, just say, I'm going to ask you one question. I mean, you can tell me how many people or agents have you said, let me get you stickers and a farm and labels and let's do A, B, and C. And then you tell me from your experience, how many people go implement all the stuff that you provide them with or tell them to do?
Not many. I think probably 80%, when ordering stuff, they want to do at the moment. And then when I circle back, because that's what I do best is the follow up, that's when they get stuck. And that's an obstacle from my point of view, right? Because at that point, I have to figure out how can I get them to go get the job done. And that's probably one of the biggest obstacles in our industry. And I think in many industries, people are not programmed to get over the procrastination or the obstacles inside them that give them that hurdle. The things that you don't like to do, how do you teach that? And there is tools like yours that will help them get over that. And that to me is the most amazing thing that you bring to the table. Again, if they apply it, they will be golden. They will thank you for life. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving. And obviously here 25 years later, you see that even today I woke up and I was started with my ritual of Cappi, and it allows me to do what I love best, and it keeps all my walls down to continue producing what I really truly want to bring to my audience, which is again service, high level customer service, product knowledge, marketing in a different fashion of making them understand what's available tool wise from our company for them to produce. But the last piece of it is really you, because with all these tools and all these Astro resources, could they produce? They could, but they really need that extra piece, which is the beginning part of being wired right and having that confidence to go in and get the job done right. You do that, you're golden. You will never have issues in anything you touch in life, right?
Yeah, I would agree. It really is to me the perfect, I always say the perfect marriage. And that's why I partner with you when I do events and I partner with other people because you teach a skill set and you have tools that I don't. And they need both. They need your coaching, they need your information, your level of experience, your knowledge, your know how is critical. And then I come in and I have the inner game. You have the outer, the tools, the resources, that. And then I say, let's get rid of that inner fear. Let's get rid of that doubt. Let's get rid of that lack money mindset or whatever they're dealing with, right? Like that lady was stuck. How do you do that? Well, that's what I do. I say I have to undo more than I have to do for people often, right? I
Mhm.
have to get rid of that fear of failure. People even have a fear of success. All that inner emotional stuff, that's what I help people dissolve and resolve. So then all of a sudden they go, oh, Astrid gave me these labels and all this help. And now they don't have the fear, they don't have the resistance, they don't have the uncertainty. And then they're able to implement the tool and the resources they have. Because and I know we could give people stuff all day. I could give people my free resources. I'm making videos on YouTube every single week. I pump out a ton. I have free sessions. I have affirmations. I have everything on my YouTube channel now. How many people go do it on a daily basis? How many people go get a free ebook? How many people read my book on Amazon, right? Like you got to do the work, just like Astrid can give you an app and show you everything slick and cool and trick in real estate right now. But if you don't click on the app and you don't leverage the tools or the labels or whatever, I'm just using these as an example. I'm sure you have many others. But if people are going to get stuff and then it just sits there and it becomes, I call it shelf help, it ends up on the shelf, that's because the internal game, there's all that resistance, or their internal game has fear or whatever's happening for that individual. And it really differs. But I could tell you there's kind of a handful of very, very common things. It's a fear of rejection. It's huge in sales. Big, big, big one is fear.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So some of the things you could do even when you're out working with people and you have these brilliant tools is I can help you craft these, come up with 2 or 3 questions that when you're giving this, instead of just telling them what to do, right? Because that's most of training is what to do, is you could ask a question like, once I provide you with all this information, how are you going to feel when you go out and do it? And pay attention because if they say, oh God, I'm scared. Ugh, I'm going to feel so stressed. What if I can't? That's when you're going to start hearing the real juice,
Okay.
right? And then if they go, oh, I'm totally excited. And then you could say, either way, I'm excited or I'm afraid. You could say, okay, so I want to see in 4 weeks or however long that duration of time is. I want to see you feeling proud, feeling happy if they say, I'm going to feel that. Use those feelings they said, that if they're positive. In 4 weeks, I want to come back and have this conversation and see where you're at. That's gonna flip a switch in their brain and start associating with, "Oh, she gave me 4 weeks," but you're not saying, "You better do this in 4 weeks." You're saying, "I wanna see you feel proud. I wanna see you increase your success. I wanna see you feel motivated," or whatever those words were. Now, if they say, "God, the thought of it doing that, ugh, that stresses me out." Okay, so here's what I would say to you. I wouldn't give them all that stuff because you know they're not gonna use it. I would say, "Okay, so what can we do to dissolve that stress for you? Do you need somebody to go with you? Do you need a partner to go whatever, or sit with somebody, an assistant, like a VA? Do you need some help? Because if that's the case, I wanna see you succeed, but if you're gonna already be resistant and you haven't even given them the stuff, they're not gonna implement it.
Got it.
So always getting to like the core, like I did with that lady, just ask a simple question. And a big question is, oh, I'm feeling stuck. I don't have any money. I don't have any business. They're already stressed. I don't want to hit those pain points more. I want to ask them the question, what do you think would take you out of this stress? What do you think? Oh, a deal, money. Well, then let's say you get a deal and you make some money. Is it already spent? How about we create a system for you so you're consistent and you're constantly making money, which is what I do for people because a lot of the consciousness of salespeople is I need a deal. I got to hit a number. And for me, I don't operate like that. It's more like if I create a smart system and I know what I'm duplicating, like we talked earlier before we hit record, I always tell my clients I create 3 really smart systems for them. And then you just wash, rinse, and repeat, and you do what monetizes you. And instead of, and now we get interruptions and calls and other things that happen in life, that's normal. But if you know your fundamentals, and I don't think most people, especially in real estate, do, they're kind of all flying by the seat of their pants.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So I'm excited for the opportunities I have for our viewers. We live in Southern California, and I think that the real estate industry specifically is in a big need of mindset and specific strategy training. And I think there's a lot of opportunities to start doing some live events, start doing some education information, mindset tool solutions for people to really scale up their business, and that would include investors. I do speak a lot to real estate investors as well. And I think that the community is just really hungry. What are you seeing right now in real estate, Astrid? Tell me from your perspective. We're in June of 2026, and of course, the market changes. Things always change. So if you're watching this later, we're speaking of right now.
I think there's a lot of challenges this market. We've kind of done a full circle to what's going on in California, and we do have some challenges here. So the agents are probably feeling that stress because they don't have the control of it. You never can control a market no matter what. However, right now, the market is not in favor to agents getting a lot of business because you have to kind of watch what the market is and figure out where your niche is going to be and also have a system in place. And again, a system in place starts with step one, which is probably part of what you're talking about. Step two, having a system with my resource and tools to put that together so that they don't need to watch the market. Right now, if you're watching market, they're feared, they're afraid. What's going on? Is the war over? Is it not? Prices are high for properties. There's no first time buyers because housing is so expensive. Rents are expensive. So there's a lot of challenges right now in California. However, as time goes, they will throw incentives for consumer because that's what normally happens. It is a kind of interesting market right now. Sellers want to get the most for the house. Buyers are not willing to pay that. It's a struggle between both to meet in the middle to make a deal happen. It's very, very hard. It's not one of those markets where it's so busy, tons of houses are selling. You know, market has a lot of inventory. Houses are not selling because high priced homes. People are just testing the market. Do they really need to sell the house? They don't. Do people want to retire and move out of state? Maybe. There's only a few niches out there, and you have to watch that pool and also apply what we offer to make that success for yourself. You can't just sit there and think the phone's going to ring. You will either work your way out of the industry because you waited and didn't observe these type of things that can help your business and apply it. So that's kind of where I see the market right now. It's very unique market that nobody's ever seen. It's unpredictable. You can't even put your finger on what's going to happen next. And in
Right.
that type of market, you definitely need to step it up with, like I said, again, the right person on your team, somebody with a lot of experience. I consider us like doctors. You get the best doctors behind you. Those are the people who are going to help you get to the front of the line, and you'll forget the fears and the stress you had if you apply it properly, right? If not, you'll be thinking about us along the way, right?
Yeah, and that's good information. I think that, as I mentioned earlier, the market is always changing depending on when you're watching this. I have an ebook called Mind Over Market for that reason, because when I sold real estate, Astrid, the interest rates were 12%.
Wow.
And now they're not, and people still go the interest rates and this, but the prices are higher, of course. But here's the thing, the market's always changing. It is unpredictable. But I've always had the belief, and I did this as a real estate agent as well, that people still pass away. People still either inherit properties or want to sell those properties. People are still getting divorced, probably more than ever. People are still downsizing, upsizing. Like you say, first time home buyer market's not so hot, but there's a lot of people that still need professional help. And I think if realtors can master their mindset and know that people are going to move. And right now, we don't have robots going in houses taking listings yet. We have all these other tools and technology, but there's still a big need. And I often say our job as professionals is to feed the need. Feed the need of the client. But I find that when real estate agents are living in lack or they're living in stress or they're fearful or they don't want to market themselves, I could go on about a million different reasons why. The ones that are creating the success and getting the listings and doing the job are making a lot of money right now. I have a lot of people that I coach that are killing it right now because they don't need to sell as much. Number one, the commissions are higher because the price points are higher. I was talking to a lady the other day and she said, Cappy, all the house prices now are like 1.5 or whatever. And I could have never in a million years thought about selling a 1.5 deal when I was doing 500,000. Like that was so far out of my range. And I said, but now you're doing it to the 5, 7, $10 million deals. You're saying it's too big for me. She's kind of keeping herself in the current market of and again I'm just using these as examples, but that's mindset. You got to do the same job, it's just a different house and it's a bigger commission. But I find that agents shrink themselves and they say, oh well, so and so's in that area, or I can't do that because whatever their limitation is. But the reality is the market is going to continue to evolve, change, interest rates change, deals change, opportunities come and go. But I do believe that the need to solve people's problem is still there. And that really is an agent's job. And I think when they get clear, it's not about getting a deal or chasing or hustling or finding, it's like, what problem can you solve for somebody who maybe just lost a parent or a grandparent? There's so many people that don't know what to do. And of course, everybody goes online now. And how much information is online? I mean, it's just overwhelming trying to make a decision today on who do I hire? Who's going to help me? Who's going to get me there? I mean, you go there and you're going to go down 5 million bunny trails, right?
Yes, I
So I
agree.
think it's important for us as leaders of that group of people, and for me, all professional people, that there is a solution, there is an answer, but it does come from them doing the work and overcoming those inner objections and then implementing the things that you do.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah,
sense?
I
Yeah.
agree. Totally
Do you
agree.
have any questions for me as far as, I mean, I know we talk a lot and stuff, but if you were just a viewer and you didn't know me yet, would you have any questions as far as mindset? Like, how does it work?
I'd say probably how is it different than just doing a real estate coaching versus something to do with the mind, the uniqueness. I think that would be the question that most people would ask you, how it really works and how do you apply it to get the results? And how long is your program? Is it something I have to do every day? Is it once a week? I mean, people always ask me, and I actually turn on your channel to get them a taste of, oh my God, it's custom to you. Yes. So that would be the question asking to you that do you make it custom to me or is it a generic taping?
Right,
So
right, right.
that would
I
be
have
stuff.
both. I have a buy me in a box online. So if somebody has money problems, I always say go start with my $97 rewire your money mindset because that's simple for people to do. And yeah, it is a daily deal. I was talking to somebody the other day on an interview and she said, I have to take a shower every day. I have to brush my teeth every day. I have to use your thing every day. I got to get rewired every day because there's so much crap going on in the world.
Noise.
Yeah, that it's easy for me to get distracted, so every day I think of it as a mental shower, and I said, "That is such a good metaphor." So, depending on the client, if it's one-on-one, yes, I do make those custom sessions, but I do now offer a 6-week group class, and I run that class every Friday at noon, and that's a small group of people, and I do make the sessions live in there. So, my stuff today, I think with coaching, it's really important for our viewers to understand that a lot of coaches today, they get certified in 2 days. I went to school for 4 years, and they get certified online or whatever, and then make videos. So you buy a program and then you're watching their videos, which I'm not saying it's bad, but I wanna be able to ask questions. I like working with a person, so I'm very hands-on, and I think that's very different today. And when you hire me, you get me. You don't get my team, you don't get my staff. I'm making the sessions, I'm doing the coaching. So I'm still old school, I guess you could say. I take so many clients a month one on one, and then I have my group program for people that don't really need that one on one, but they want the rewiring. And we work on money mindset, motivation, fear, all that kind of generic sales stuff to increase your results. The one on one's 90 days, and I'm really digging in and creating those strategies for people. I'm making those personal sessions. I'm doing that work with them for 90 days. So that's my elite program. So for those of you that are watching, you can click the link below. If you want to book a call with me, I do have a free consultation call right now. They're still free. I have some room on my calendar. You can check my calendar link and go ahead and book a call. We can hop on a Zoom for 30 minutes and see if you're a fit for either the group or the one on one program. And for those of you that are interested in learning more about Astrid, if you're a real estate investor or a real estate agent and you need tools, she's got amazing tools. She's really tech savvy. She knows a lot about the market and the industry. I'm going to put her link below as well. You can click on there to contact Astrid Ashworth. We'll put her name in there as well. It's unique like mine. And I just want to take a minute and say thank you for being here today. I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. I appreciate you sharing with the audience the breakthroughs that you've gotten, the things that have worked for you. And I love sitting back and watching your success. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Cappi. It's my pleasure. Always excited to work with you and use all your tools. And I'm sure you'll have more for me in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.